Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a rendition of Hey Joe, and it's sort of an acoustic campfire style, if you will. Obviously not the original because that's just super crazy. But it's a nice way to use your open chords in a real straightforward sort of way. And due to the chords used, and actually you should be familiar with all of these before you jump into the lesson here, but you want to know your C and your G, your D and your A, and your E. And I like to break the song into actually two different chord moves because you're going to do a C first, and by the way, it's two strums on each. We'll get more into this, but your first little move is an open C to a G, and you don't want to do the G this way with your pinky free. You want to do the G, same notes, but you want to do the G that's more of a sort of like a country Bob Dylan style G, where actually your first finger is the finger that you're not using. So your pinky's on the high string, your third finger's on the low string, and they span the width of the neck. And then your middle finger's on the A string. So that's your G. And the reason that you want to do this G is because our first move, the first two chords, it's almost a built-in chord exercise, this song, is that it's a C, and then you're going to move to that G. And the move itself is actually simple when you look at it, because the lower two fingers you're using on that C chord, you actually take that little shape and you just scoot it up a string set, or physically up, but rather down in pitch, so down a string set, and then you lift off your first finger and put your pinky on and you arrive at G. So the C to a G in itself is kind of its own little chord move. And this is how you want to approach this song. You want to work your C to your G like that if you're having trouble. Now in context of the song, you're going to strum twice on each. It's just a C to a G, and then our next little piece, and I sort of like to attack these two together, is a D. So you should know your D major to your A. And there's two strums on each of those, but this in itself is a nice move where you have your D, third finger scoots back on the same string, and you can build on top of it and create your A chord. So that's your second chord move. I like to think of these as your chord moves. Your C to your G is a move, and then your D to your A is a move. Now I know that the move from the G to the D is another move, but that's harder. I think it's just better to sort of, do what you can do. Pick the two easier ones and get them down, and then just kind of struggle and practice through the G to the D move. Anyway, so this is your verse, is that it's two on each. It's C, G, and then D, A. So even that moves kind of quickly. You should be familiar with these shapes. Good way to memorize it too is that C to G is a move, or first piece maybe, and then second piece is D to A. Then you arrive on E major, and you do it 8 strums. Dun 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 dun. Dun na 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 na. So there's all this stuff going on over the E. I'll show you that in phase 2. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we loop it. C, G, D, A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, when you're comfortable with this, you want to try and let your hand swing a little bit. It's really boring to go. I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. But once this hand is up to speed and you know that you're pretty comfortable doing this, let's try to really get some feel in it. So the way you want to do this, and I'm not being perfectly precise on like what the rhythm is, but you want to be able to break it up to where your hand's actually moving kind of on this grid, where there's kind of a bounce, there's a swing to your hand. And I'm getting that in case you guys haven't reviewed the strumming fundamentals, but you're actually on the inner elbow, a little bit more into the forearm. And that's resting on the apex of the curve of the guitar body here. So you're not over, your biceps not on the guitar, your forearm's actually on the guitar. And it's supporting the weight of your arm. So as your arm swings over, if you were to relax all the muscle in your arm, it would actually the weight of it would be held at the forearm. And so that way your wrist can hang loosely and kind of actually start to swing as you do this. And so as you strum, you're strumming twice, but you're actually swinging a little bit more than that. You're swinging twice as fast. 1, 2. You're kind of cutting the swing in half. Or you're cutting your strums, you're actually passing twice as fast as each of the strums. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but I think you guys get the idea, is that you're not going like stiff like this, you're loose. And the reason for that is as you start to strum these, you're going to strum the downs, 2 strums on the C, 2 on the G, but you can allow yourself to kind of come in and get some personality with those extra strums, the extra times you pass over the strings where it's not really as important, as accented. So what I mean by that is that all the little stuff, that's how you get it. It's just creating a feel. Just let your hand loosen up and bounce a little bit, if you will. It doesn't have to be perfect. Phase 1, being able to just strum through it. Now let's work on phase 2. This is the fun part. Only do this if you can finish phase 1.